good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to another round with Dylan Russell. Just so happened that today I managed to get a little bit of on a roll with my building, so I figured I would give it another opportunity, just to see if I could get a little bit more done. So just a chill and a chat and, you know, that sort of thing. That's your bag. Welcome aboard, Peregrine! By the way, if it just so happens for anybody that they are on their way driving home, please do remember to stay safe and not interact with the chat while you are driving. Hey, Peregrine. So you are here first. Hopefully it brought up all the stuff it's supposed to. I think we should be okay. My frames are taking a huge hit, and for some reason I'm getting stuttering in the music, so I'm actually just going to try a different playlist real quick here. This is more chill than I was expecting. Wow. Check here. What? Oh. That'll smooth things out a lot. So basically what actually had happened was I mistakenly had Bruno still going on in the background, and he had while I was away, passed over to Jesse B, which is awesome, but the drawback... Oops, you can get the a little lower. Eye control. Weird, it's very, very jumpy. I'm gonna quit Spotify and put that one up again. Oh. So, long story made short, yeah, is that I had Jesse B running in the background, which is not so effective for trying to get a stream outwards when you're downloading high quality stream on the inside. And there we go, now it's quiet. Can't win. So first thing I'm going to do is tear down this one, just so I can get the materials. And lose. Get the music.
Hello. Hello.
There we go. Hello. So you can start to see by the Lightmatic that I have moved. I built the big piece on the one side, and then I copied it and moved it this morning and built the other one. And then I've got another version of it in place. For a rough guide, we're actually not going to be following all of this, only part of it, and it's actually going to be solid at the bottom. So I need to, and I also will need to terraform out a little bit out of it. But I think, first things first, I'm going to tear down this side. And I can always do that with a little bit of chitter-chatter in the background. I'm going to do that. I should probably empty inventory. Where to put everything. Random stuff? Random stuff. I have eggs that don't belong here. Okay. There's one I can shake the stick at. Yeah. That's okay. Don't need button. At the moment I don't need the magic stick, so put that there. Alright. Ditch the eggs, and then get this thing on the road. Updating your advancement spreadsheet. Oh, you have a spreadsheet. Ah. Eggs. Over here. There we go. I'm also vaguely wondering if I should be culling the cows, because A, I don't need them, and B, I vaguely wonder if that may have any effect on whether or not an egg spawns a chicken. We'll just have to see that. I gather then, Peregrine, you're intending to try and get as many advancements on as part of your BGF run this season as you can. Can't blame you. In goal. Trying to figure out if you're going live tonight. If you did go live, what would you be playing? That's always my question. What it is people... I don't think the music is choppy anymore, so between the reboot of the Spotify program and not having Jesse going on in the background, that probably was what used to be getting me a little bit smoother audio. I'm not out of supplies, but the more I can get done with the supplies I have, the less making of things I have to do. Xenoblade. I'm not too familiar with the Xenoblade storyline. Heard about it. Is that one of the many types that was also show at one point, or is this one of the ones that's been just a game? I was very confused when it comes to anime-related stuff. Because I'm just not up on those things. One of those things that makes you feel old when cartoons that aren't necessarily just for kids are something you suddenly don't know about anymore. It's a game? Okay. Funny, it sounds like it's something that would have actually been turned into a show. If it was a show based on a game, but okay, cool. No. Just for curiosity's sake, any idea where that tends to fall in YouTube's popularity scale? Not that there's any reason you wouldn't play it, but just idly curious. I was just looking the other day that it's just kind of interesting to note sometimes the differences in that YouTube has a very, very different set of viewership priorities in terms of what they do and don't like versus what people on Twitch seem to like and not like. Because everybody's got their own thing. But because people are doing, think about it, in a way, YouTube is nothing but VOD. No video on demand. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the video on demand recording of a live presentation, but it's definitely a video on demand in a rather literal sense. You know, every streaming video service is really a VOD of some sort or other. Yeah, I can't blame you. No, I can understand the story spoilers. I totally get that. Which I suppose then to some extent means that you're avoiding a lot of your own YouTube account recommended list, because what you start to watch and or play, even what you broadcast yourself, tends to start showing up in mass on your recommended list of YouTube. Been there, did that. Tried a taster of Scrap Mechanic, and for weeks my channel was filled with tons of recommendations of Scrap Mechanic, and I had not watched a single video on it on my channel in months and months, and it was all gone. I mean, you know, where you look for like one recommendation on like truck tires and it's there for months. Yeah, after I posted the video on demand of the test run of Scrap Mechanic, I was getting tons of recommendations to watch Scrap Mechanic. Like, if you enjoyed that, you might like this. Does anybody have any concept of not giving me spoilers? If I want spoilers, I will go looking for them. glad you're enjoying it, though. If it's the third installment, it sounds like you're really into it thus far. Oh, okay. No, I guess when I hit go, I should probably have checked to see what else was on the river. Quite a pleasure to actually have somebody else sleeping for a minute or two. As I'm not doing anything that requires staying up at night. The other silly goals when I'm taking something down like this is just to see if I can get it down fast enough to A, not die, while I'm at it, but B, to get it down fast enough so that anything that doesn't get sucked up by me while I'm actually down, these stupid blocks like that one I left up in the air, but so that I can actually get it before the blocks spawn. There you go. I also have to remember not to take down the scaffolding fast before you come down like you've fallen. Way behind everybody else, but that's because you actually have Symbol of Life. 100 hours. Good grief. So it's not just the highlights of the game. You're actually playing the whole darn thing? Wow. Kudos. Something I'd have the patience for. Pretty impressive. On the other hand, is it one of those ones where it has over 100 hours of actual gameplay, or is it one that's like over 100 hours of gameplay because of replayability? And that's the other thing, is that sometimes there's, multi different directions something can go. But those are the type that I tend to stumble across, are the ones that have tons of hours, but that's just because you play the same content with a different outcome. It's part of how people get into things like Rocket League, but I'm assuming this one sounds story-based. It'd be a pretty long-winded story. I guess I never really thought about it. I suppose even games like Final Fantasy still have a good amount of hours to them. Never spent that much time in them. I forgot to put my system on streaming, so my watch is dinging at me. Strangely enough, it's dinging at me telling me that another streamer is live. Not so helpful at the moment. There we go. Alright. Streaming is one of those things that seems to be a self-perpetuating time slot, or self-perpetuating cycle, in terms of people are going to stream in the evenings, because that's when they have the most time to watch. That's when viewers have the most time to watch, crossed with that's when there's most selection for viewers to watch. So you just hope that you're the one people come to watch, but case. I actually streamed in this time slot because I can. I was going to be building on this thing anyways. I'm not sure of that. My usual excuse. Or as one streamer told me once, who needs an excuse for streaming? If you're there and you want to turn it on, go for it. That's all that anybody needs. It's funny, Peregrine, after the long conversation I'd had with you in text over YouTube streaming, I haven't done it yet. I haven't set up for it and stuff, and I really should. Just to give it a try. I don't think I'll be leaving Twitch anytime soon, but it might be interesting opportunities once in a blue moon to consider separating out the content in different places, depending on what the content is that each location seems to like better. Yeah, exactly. Long game. So I'm just kind of curious, how are XC1 and XC2 different from one another in that sense? I'm not, like, it sounds like two different installments of the same story, but then why play a ton of the second one and not have any time into the first one? I'm just one of those people who's kind of like story order addicted, so I very vastly prefer to play things in story order when I have the opportunity. More and more it seems like vendors are relying more on multiplayer to make up for limited content. Just hoping players will make their own story. I totally agree with you, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. I totally agree with you there. Sometimes the stories themselves are incredibly weak sauce. That if you throw in a multiplayer, then you just let people go at it. Well, yeah, that's lazy, I guess. That's my thinking. It does seem a bit lazy. Oh, apparently not. Cough, Scrap Mechanic? Yes. Scrap Mechanic claims they're going to have a Chapter 2, and the difference with Scrap Mechanic versus, in my mind, versus some of the other ones, is actually that Scrap Mechanic originally wasn't going to have story. They released it as a creative game on its own, and sort of, where they said, okay, what'll come later? Part of it is because people are saying, you could have so many opportunities to have a story with this game, why don't you? So they put in a survival mode story. But I will admit, survival mode story is ridiculously short and ridiculously weak sauce. Which is part of why some of the people who still play it quite heavily are very much into the creative mode and the newer challenge mode. It didn't exist when I gave it a test run, but I'm not sure that it would have made much difference. Wow, that went far afield. Need no box. Dump stuff. Sort it later, I think. I'm gonna need enough of these supplies that I have to turn around right back for them. I'm gonna grab the rest of them before I get too far. I can easily make more scaffolding, like that's totally not a problem. It's just that more of a principle thing than anything else. Right. It also occurred to me I do not have much of this area lit up properly. So I'm gonna have interesting spawning friends coming up, I suppose. Now for the reality is I
Following the leader, the leader, the leader.
Hello, Dark Ray. We'll see. We'll see if I'm going to do a follow and return. I do want to check out your channel first, get a feel for it, see if it's something that I actually would be interested in. I'm not a follow for follow, just for follow's sake type of person. So take that as you will. I appreciate the follow, but it's not the sort of thing that appeals to me. There won't be a follow in return. So, yeah, I do apologize for that, but that's the reality. Okay, so if I was looking for something aesthetically pleasing, then I would put this second side on the near front instead of where it is, because it's less detailed than the side that's already built here. But I'm basing it off of a real location, so this left side is more detailed than the one on the right side.
2, 4, 6, 8, everybody hydrate!
I'll take the hydrate, but you can see that at the moment my health bar on the right is full, so I won't be able to give the eat just momentarily. And there we go, coffee has been consumed. Alright. Yeah, well, exactly. Ursula's quest sounds pretty long, so I can understand that that wouldn't be to everybody's taste. There's a need. Back for more of this stuff later. No, Smith. Blocks. I think that'll get me through most of it. Where's the rest? Most of it. Does make whole pile, okay. Quartz stair there. Oh, regular quartz, not. Already looked in there. Not gonna help anybody. Great. Where's that? Got slabs. Got stands. Stand. Slabs. Alright, I think that's all I need for this round. Probably need some. But that'll get me going for now. All. Enough walls. Really won't have enough walls. Do I have decks? Maybe. Third one on back. There we go. Alright. Flowers. I'm just going to take out enough of this so that we can get the build done, and then I'll terraform the rest of it later. Okay, grass. I have enough dirt that I don't really care if these people die. Quarter part of me says, pick them all up, but not useful at the moment. Don't want hole. Hole. And yes, Fantastic Sherlock Fox, I have Doc McStuffins code stuck in mine. As expected, anytime we talk about stuff with holes. Alright, and I can eat. Stretch. Crackety crack. I suspect. Oh, okay. That makes sense, Peregrine. The 1 and 2. When it's in parallel dimensions, that makes sense. And you probably wouldn't, in that case though, want to play the third version, or sorry, the third installment, until you've got them, you've got at least one of the other two done, or possibly both, so that you get the references. And I suspect that's probably also part of what works in your favor in terms of long gameplay, is just, yeah. I'm gonna run out of space like fast and nugget, whatever. Right, do I have one? Okay. Get at this. Oops. But yeah, you probably wouldn't want to play the third installment until the other ones are done because you've got the story to work with. That's probably also what keeps people interested in the previous ones, is, as you say, the not knowing context. Let go. But if they don't know the context, they wouldn't necessarily stick around. But I think if they do, that would keep them going. What's on page? Or like what's happening? Because they're not losing context with references made to other things. Sometimes even if they're starting to get bored, for whatever reason, then being aware of the context of a reference. Could be just that little bit that keeps them go, oh, that's kind of neat. I'll stick around for another few minutes, see what else they reference. That today. So when I'm using a light matic like this, the color coding, good, because it means that you're in the wrong direction, like you've got the right piece in the wrong direction. Sometimes it's just maddening. You've got to be a particular way just because they put it in the way. This one is orange, which means the correct block going the wrong direction. Some reason, put it in sideways. Can't recall why I did that, but there was a reason at the time, actually. Okay. One, standing on it. Go. Yeah, I did try to skip the entities, but I did not skip. I did not skip the blocks. I really? Oh, okay. I did not skip adding the. Pardon me. Did not skip the scaffolding. I was trying to say. And the reason for that is that having a gazillion scaffolding around ended up actually being very helpful. So I figured I would keep them wrapped. This is the one set I can get because I'm not using that dash. It used to go up the back right in this spot here. But I found it wasn't very useful. The ones up the outside were more, but I just didn't bother removing that from the schematic because it's a bit of a pain. Remove blocks. Doable, but annoying. May have duplication in here, but then we go up. Getting these out of the way. Oh, I don't need to. Go. And then we can just start going clicky all the way. Now, I wasn't going to use the quick place tool because it can literally be used as a copy-paste format, and then you just go and fix all the orange ones. But prevented by easy place mode because I'm standing there. But I found this morning it was really quite helpful actually to get going. Really all it's doing is placing... I have the correct block in my inventory. It may not always be on the hotbar, but it would be on the inventory. Fine. But it means that as long as I have it, then it'll place it. There are sometimes where it's just isn't block in my hand. Come on, place the dang wall, please. Spoilery stuff for 3 I've seen does a very good job at explaining what you need to know for the story, especially for people that haven't played any of the others. Oh yeah, you mentioned earlier that these are good at being standalone. So I can... What am I doing here? I'm making lots of mistakes. I'm following this too closely while I chat. This one, I actually don't need to follow as closely as I have been. Do you remember that for the third one over there? This one is actually, you're going to see a whole lot of wrong blocks, which come out as red, and I'm just doing that on purpose, because I actually don't need a doorway on this side at all. Not that. I think what I'm going to do is turn off the place, and try and do it a little manually. There's some extra blocks and some wrong blocks. Run out of stairs. But that's just because basically what's happened is this front side is the most complicated with 4 different things going on. The side I'm working on right now only has the top 2 whole sections in it. Bottom sections are flat faces. And then when I do it on the third side here, this one, only got the top whole part. So it'll be the bottom 3 sections are flat faces, which means that of course there's a lot of, but I did the complicated ones first, intentionally, so that part I was most fussy about, that I worked out well, and then see where it goes from there. But it's a little easier to not pay attention to that than it is to fuss with trying to put it in later if I had done it the other way around from a flat face. Part of it was I didn't know what my scale was going to be. You had mentioned earlier, Peregrine, that the stories are all fairly standalone, so I can see how that would work. Not there. Who is it that's sleeping for me? Oh! Thank you, baby. 5, so if it helps, let me know if so just wanted to let JBT know that I appreciate that he's sleeping, but also I don't want to let him feel that he has to be the one doing all the sleeping for us. He wants me to do it. Heads up, and or if he gets in the middle of something and it's super late, then I will, because nobody likes phantoms. Not fun. No worries, as long as you're outside to see the sunset, I'll sleep. Okay. Great. That will actually speed us up a good margin by not having to go down for additional sleeping. Additional supplies will definitely be a thing, but additional sleeping, not nice. That one, the levels up higher. Probably don't need that one. Take this tower out. I think I'm gonna need it. I'm gonna try ignoring that one, and we'll see how well it goes. Hello, Benson! Welcome back. Glad to see you. You always spoil me when you show up. One of these days I figure I'm probably going to become your background and you sound like a radio station. Yep. I appreciate support. I really do. Okay. I have to watch out for... What is this? Oh. I put... Top, okay. I had a system at one point where I was putting in, on the inside, another layer of stone so that it was all plain sandstone, so I could, from the inside, know which floor is which. But I kind of blew that pretty quickly, so we'll have to see if I can catch on. Go. Oh. Wait a second, I just gotta grab a reference picture. Because, the picture I'm looking, or the building I'm looking at actually has some damage, like or discoloring of the stone at certain levels, and I want to see if that continued on this side or not. Good too. Okay, so what do I call it? Church Tower side 2. 3. Edit that. Oh. Tower side. So for reference, this, and I'm going to make it small, one is definitely what working with. I'm building up. That's the size building I'm working with. That's what this particular walls more or less look like. So compared to what the front was, it's definitely much more bland. This is part of why we can get a move on. My version of that. A lot more texturing going on. A lot more. Really should get a different block, but I'm not. Yeah, there'll be some afterwork on this one. Go with 2 layers of bone blocks I had at this level for now, and then I can always add to it later. 1, 2, 3. Shopping and decided you needed Dell stream running. In my neck of the woods, radio streams are 4-letter codes, but I couldn't think of a 4-letter joking combination for this one. Isn't it like me? Oh, on briefly. But, okay. Of course you can't cut sandstone when I'm standing on it. Not so much. Oh. Glenn Russell coming to you from DLR. Benson's ambient Minecraft stream. Ambient? No, that's not the word. Certainly anything but ambient. Benson's chosen ASMR stream. Not really much of ASMR either. Can't say dulcet tones, that doesn't work either. No dulcet tones here. Oh, wrong way. And we definitely appreciate having you around. I will admit, it sounds silly, but having you around does brighten my day, so it's really helpful. And not making light of you, Peregrine, not in the slightest, but it's just always good to have friends. Bone block. Here. Drop one. Of course. Of course I would have dropped one. Go. Even when I'm doing a different design, I guess, than is actually on. I'm making something slightly different than what it's expecting. Still having a schematic or a thematic makes things go a lot faster. We go stairs. Okay. Oh, I know I didn't bother with the sandstone trick I was telling you about with the floors is have bone block trick. It's just really a difference to see where the various things are. Okay. regret if I don't use them. Can I? No. Fine, we'll add them later. Page up. I probably should start coloring the center section. I think that would give this a little bit more life. Because adding blocks would be kind of repetitive. Oh, okay. Now I'm back to off thing place. One block for the time being. One up. I was telling people the other day that I've got a chat overlay that sits on top of my game. Basically, it's just another window that shows you Twitch chat, and you put in whatever your username is. And where's it at? So it's great, but you can also add a timeout to how long the stuff sits on the screen. Sometimes I've still manage to miss it when I get into a minor bass groove. I just noticed, though, that Jensen has successfully changed the question of the day. So right now we have, if you had a giraffe that you needed to hide, where might you hide your giraffe? Sounds really weird, but yeah, if you had a giraffe that you needed to hide, where might you put it? So, I mean, one of the funny ones somebody has said to me once was, they had I'd just put it in the room where I needed to be, because I would just put a lampshade over its head. I was trying to figure out how on earth that would actually look. That was a giraffe hanging out in your house with a lampshade on his head. I mean, the assumption in the question is you wouldn't have to worry about the practicalities of caring for said giraffe. You just worry about hiding said giraffe. I'd say one of the more unique ones I've seen. Hello there! How are you doing, Dreama? Wow, good to see you! The internationals are popping in today. This is great. So, Dreama, you can see that I've kind of, I guess, put my big girl pants on and bothered to actually let you know that I was streaming. Yeah, working on the church building today. This side's a little less involved, so I'm semi paying attention to my schematics, semi ignoring it. But, yeah, we finally got the other side built. We only just woke up. Oh my goodness. You hide a giraffe in an umbrella stand. That's a very interesting, unique answer. I like that. I like that. I'd have to have an umbrella stand to start with, but that would be a funky way to do it. So, yeah. Tall and thin, that's true. Definitely tall and thin. One place I wouldn't want to hide it is I wouldn't want to try and tuck it in my pantry. I'm fairly certain that the giraffe would probably try and eat me out of house and home, especially everything that's usually hidden up on the top shelves to keep the kids away. Like, you know, candy or whatnot. And here. Yeah, clearly missed. Some of the blocks I'm sticking with what I said I was going to do, and some of the blocks I'm changing up. Yep. That's what I've got a wrong block on the end as well. Yep. I mean, I wouldn't want the giraffe to eat my chocolate. Not that I'm particularly addicted to chocolate per se,
Hello?
But one of those things I don't want them to have. Hello, Yellow. How are you? Yes, I'm using easy place mode. Just because I spent so ruddy long doing the original face of this tower that I just, for sanity's sake, just wanted it moving on. But you can see the picture on the screen there. That's what I'm using for my original design. Original, I guess. My design reference for this space. It's going to be schematic is actually built for the front face of this thing. I'm having to sort of budget as we go through. Wrong brick. And did I? Oh, okay. I started to go up a file. Yeah, okay. So, I just wanted to speed things up on the tower portion. I've also moved it, so it was over on the other side of the beacon, like literally I had the beacon inside the back wall. But then when I've moved it over, the reason I've moved everything over, to do a quick rundown, is you can see where the beacon is on screen. And if I'd actually kept the church going in that same direction, the main portion of it would have crashed into the engine from my train. So, of course, not wanting to do that, I decided to move it over and turn it and come out this direction instead. So that gives me a bit of space to work with. I know there's some terraforming involved, but thank heavens not nearly as much as there was for the carpet art. And actually, I don't think I've shown that off real recently, so that's where we are on the carpet art. So you can see the white line on the right-hand side, and then there's a gap line towards the, I guess, left side of the center section. That's just where I've changed the reference picture. So I actually found it was skewed by 1 degree, and I didn't like the lime. So I'm redoing that from this section on out to the other direction. And there's a third section of our book on the right. Yeah, so that's a quick summary of where we're at. I just really wanted to get this thing going. And I also had left the, in the schematic, I had left the scaffolding in place because I found on the front face, the location of the scaffolding was quite handy. So I figured that I would just leave it there and then I could always ignore it if I didn't need it. It lets me know where some of the most useful spots were. Put things up. Now I'm on to the level where it actually matters. You'll see in the picture there, there's a clock, and the church itself has a little picture. I can add image, browse. I'll show you the other side because then I'm pre-ready for that. Open. Alrighty, this thing is huge, so I'm just going to try and shrink it down for you. Wow, this is crazy huge. Let's start by fit. Okay, so this picture just shows you that at the top they have a decorative window. It goes all the way around, but it doesn't have the clock on the last side. It only has it on the front and on the side I'm currently working on. Yeah. Drag that. And so we're not that far off, but it's got the upper window section. That I'm on has the clock similar to this hole here. I have not got the slightest clue what I'm going to use to actually fill the center of the clock in such a way that I would actually be able to see the face. Okay, but we're going to probably go with something that will at least be the blues from in behind that. And I don't really know how much I care about the face. It's all representative for mystery book character of Father Brown. I always forget what his first name was, but I mean, it's not really critical in that sense. But, so this church is based off of pictures that you're seeing there of a church officially called St. Peter and St. Paul's Church in Blockley, England. It's mildly amusing, only insofar as, you know, Minecraft and Blockley. Class where you can get them. And, but it's actually St. Peter and St. Paul's, which was used as the filming location for St. Mary's when the UK did their most recent version of Father Brown Mysteries. Yeah, figured that would be a good enough reference. I can sort of bend it and or not do all of it as my heart desires, because I'm really referencing a book character anyways. So it's a win-win. Yeah. It's actually, if I turn it on, turn off, it's easy place mode. And I'm not practiced enough with Litematica to just go ham, but some people who use this mod are, and they're just able to basically paint by numbers, as they call it. They just hold down the mouse and they have the right stuff in their inventory, and off they go. They go just totally hog wild. I tend to have a bad habit of standing in the wrong place. Putting things in backwards. Orange is the correct block and the wrong orientation. And now without go. Tend to put the correct block in the wrong orientation. Or something equally silly. Great. Yep. So I'm not having to do all of it, of course, because I just reuse the front face. Prevented by the easy place mode, because two things. One, you can't easy place when you're standing on it. And sometimes, too, you'll find that you may not actually have the right block in your inventory. Now that looked like a tiny gap, but I honestly have missed that a few times. I'll make a jump trying to get onto the scaffolding, like from here, and I'll end up sliding down this stupid little spot in there. In this case, though, I know those scaffoldings don't really exist, but that helps. Exactly! I never remember his last name. I know his first name is Mark, but I can never remember his last name. So if you're ever interested in just a bit of a smile, involving some of the actors and actresses from, or well, one of the actresses from the Harry Potter films, Julie Walters, who played Mrs. Weasley, does the narration voice along with a bunch of like comedians getting interviewed, UK comedians, and they did a series called I don't tip my tongue 5 seconds ago. Very British Problems. And they talk about funny things like, they say, you know, we really should meet for drinks. And they sound sincere about the whole thing, but they're not. They're really just trying to be nice, and basically the implication of what that really means behind the scenes is, okay, I'm sick and tired of you, I really don't want to have anything to do with you ever again, please go away. But it's a very British thing. You don't see that in other countries. Most of the time when we say, hey, I'd like to meet for drinks, we actually mean it literally at some point in the future. Call me, we get together for drinks. But in the UK, that actually means, please don't call me anything but. So that was kind of funny because Julie does a great job narrating it, making it sound so matter of fact and big deal and all that. Yeah, the Mark does a. I have to Google that. Give me just 1 second. Okay, so Arthur Weasley was apparently played by Mark Williams. I just muted my mic and asked Google Home. Edie McJeterson. Yeah, Mark Williams does a great job of playing Father Brown. And he's actually been interviewed a few times because, or like asked the question a few times in interviews, if he actually is Catholic, because he does such a good job of the character and seems to have a lot of the mannerisms and stuff down. And it's very clear that no, he actually has no particular interest for the other. And people can believe what they want and he doesn't mind, as in like whatever their personal religious belief is. But he isn't Catholic, and I just find that kind of cool because he's been willing to come back for more Father Brown, so I'm definitely up for that. Most of the actors and actresses in that, and apparently, I don't remember who it was. It was, the characters, I don't remember his name. Sid, I think? The car driver for one of our rich a rich lady in the show. Felicia something. That one escapes me. Well, anyway, but I think that Carter guy, under the impression that he got some sort of spin-off series. I have to refresh myself on the particulars, but yeah, it's definitely something I'd be up for more of because he does a really good job of it. You'll have to refresh me what he played in Red Dwarf because my brain isn't placing him in that series. I've watched a lot of Red Dwarf, but I can't seem to place Mark Williams in Red Dwarf. I'm probably right. I didn't think he'd be Arnold Rimmer. That just doesn't make any sense. Oh, yes. Yeah. You don't see a whole lot of Lister's friend. Peterson kind of disappeared rather rapidly. As was my ascent. Okay, well now that I know that, makes me feel a lot better about it. I'm gonna have to go watch Red Dwarf now just for that. It's funny, sometimes I'll catch something that reminds me of a Red Dwarf reference, but because it's such a UK thing, and a very, how would we put it? Emma might agree with me. It's a somewhat acquired sense of humor that not everybody manages to acquire. And so, not everybody manages to acquire that sense of humor. But it's all good, you know? Sometimes I'll get a reminder about it, and then I'll make a reference. Oh yeah, that was like such and such. And things like, I can't eat a vindaloo without chuckling. Like the UK style vindaloo, because I've seen too much Red Dwarf, and the vindaloo went absolutely insane. Like they're basically, the vindaloo took on a life of its own and became a life form. Bad idea. And so we've got characters running around from this, like, you know, incredibly bad Swamp Thing 80s type of dude in a costume chasing around other people on the set. Like, it's about as hokey as early Doctor Who, but it's lovable for what it is. Right? Like, it's, my mother would say when she read silly books or watch a silly film, about a good bit of fluff. And I would totally agree. It's definitely a good bit of fluff. But it's fun nonetheless, right? It's just for a smile. Eat, hydrate, and stretch. The Vindaloo Beast, exactly. So now when somebody eats a Vindaloo, sometimes I start laughing. And there's no reason for it other than picturing the Vindaloo Beast. And other things like, I would also understand, having made the Red Dwarf reference, that it's a good thing that we've got streaming radio right now because you don't have to worry about having difficulty with the radio reception. And there's no knobs to twiddle. Which is as unfamily friendly as I'm going to get. But yeah, Red Dwarf had its very unfamily friendly moments, and I quite liked some of the episodes where they had main characters suddenly become something they were not normally, like either, you know, super strong human, or one of them actually turned human, but he was normally a robot. He didn't know what to do with some of the shape that a human body has that his robot body did not have. So that was quite amusing. Fine. So Crichton has a special place. Put it that way. But yeah, it's funny. Not funny, haha. I guess easy funny. That I went through a period where I was really heavily into that kind of stuff. Watching a lot of Red Dwarf. Watching a lot of old Doctor Who. I made a 25-foot scarf for a friend who had asked for it, but it wasn't 25 feet in the multicolor format, thank heavens. That would have been a nightmare and a half. But he did want one, and I told him my knitting wasn't very good because I had never actually learned properly about how to turn a corner and stuff in such a way that things wouldn't curl. But he wanted it anyways. I discovered after the fact, at another point in time, that turned out he actually had a crush on me. That played into it, but during the original request. And the thing is, he's even afterwards, I bumped into a couple of times. Thank heavens that we didn't get together, but he still wears it. And it's like, who wears a 25-foot cream-colored scarf like generally all year round? Yeah, not my thing. Whatever. Watch a lot of that, and then we'd eat like imported British snacks. I think that was where I had my experience from Iron Brew. Iron Brew is very, very yummy as a soda pop. As bad for you as like Orange Crush. He was a Tom Baker fan, yes. Part of it is because he actually happened to look half decent in Tom Baker's hat. The fedora thing. But in that case, he was particular about the color. He actually went and tried to buy one that was similar color. He went and bought the trench coat, which was kind of funny considering that, once again, he was doing it in the off-season. Figured he'd get a good deal in the off-season, but truth is that it's just, you're not going to find one. It's good for a guy who, well, was tall and slim. Like, I don't know. Tall and slim and ultra weird. Whereas, thankfully, Fantastic Sherlock Fox is nowhere near that weird. But anyways, that said, yeah, I had some weird stuff. It was harmless weird stuff. You know, like when people say teenagers get into trouble, yeah, it was harmless trouble. Really not going to let me play that fence? Come on. It's gonna be a short one anyway. I have to come back here. I have to make that fence. It's going to bother me. Part of me wants to go down, just like go down on the scaffolding, but it's not really there. You can see I'm working on this flying thing, but sometimes I still come in a little too flat, or my aim on where I want to be isn't the greatest. I think in that case, I think I came down on top of the torch. Poke. Fix. Fences are those things that you can never have too many of. Wow. Yeah, I tend to know a fair number of I think you'd be the third 6'4" skinny as a toothpick person I know. On the other hand, though, I think some of them have a year or two on you. Which means that the bad news with that is skinny as a toothpick doesn't stick around. It definitely doesn't stick around, but, you know, probably worth it in the long run. Because you don't end up looking, you know, like you've totally let yourself go, even if you do. That sounds really weird to say, but it's true. Okay, so, suffice to say, where are we here? He was a Tom Baker fan. I'm not sure I was. I mean, as you've come to know already, I'm terrible when it comes to remembering names. It's not just the whole Tom Baker versus not Tom Baker business. I just not very good at remembering names. So I think my favorite one actually might have been also Tom Baker, but it might also have been El Redoute. I don't know how to put it in that, but it's the one that was afterwards. I'm not an aficionado. He was. He could name absolutely everybody. I just enjoyed it. Although I will say, Ready Breakfast Bananas is not. I'd rather have popcorn with the show. Been there, done that. try. Will you let me? But fence. Come on. Yep. Don't think so. Wasn't Tennant one of the wasn't he the first or second reboot of the Doctor in the New World? There was one I was thinking of that it was from the old series. He'd wear like a light colored suit, and then he as a corsage per se, I think corsage is the word. He would actually have a big piece of celery on his lapel. Blonde. That doesn't help anybody either. Tennant was definitely not blonde. Peter Davidson. Yes, that's the one. Wow. Okay. I will just let everybody know that apparently the adult nature of having a name can get people temporarily banned when they try, or moderated when they try to use it. So the actor's name is Peter Davidson. Yes. And yet Drama Smith got auto-modded for that. I'm sorry, I do apologize. Oh. Don't get me started on the familial connections on that show. There was an awful lot of them. I can see why in the early years, because it was, it's one of those shows where, oops, one of those shows where, you know, low budget, and somebody says, hey, I can help you out for a little bit, and it's not even a sketchy sort of, hey, I can help you out, just, either I need a job, or I need somebody to do X or Y, and they will help. The other direction. So yeah, there were an awful lot of people helping each other. The BBC is notorious for having family connect helping out. Sometimes I think they were cheap, but you know, it's a possibility. I liked Tennant, to be honest. I had a bit of a cheesy, hey, he was type of squee going on there. But some of the stories, they did a good job of being true to the earlier stuff. And so they didn't necessarily need to have some of the silliness they did, but they did a great job of being true to it. I mean, the concept of too much cosmetic surgery, loved that. And that the human race had decided that cosmetic surgery was the thing. One ridiculous lady had been facelifted so many times she was nothing but just enough muscles to run her face and a piece of skin. Me. Okay. Now I know the top of these in the corners is actually all wrong. I'll have to fix that later. I really like the look, but I made some mistakes. So I'm gonna have to do that. Change up the corners a little bit because they're actually in wrong. Okay, this one is really bugging me. Oh, I know why it's wrong. Down at the bottom now. Wrong because it won't convert to the correct direction. Well, it's not. Yeah, that's not gonna work. I don't know why I got the corner janky, but I did. got into the new Who all that much. I kind of wish I had. I never really did. Not fully up on what all you guys are referring to. Doesn't necessarily mean there's anything wrong with that. Just right ahead. I recognize the names. I know who Rose was. I'd forgotten about Jenny for long. Oh, right. Oh, we know no supplies. Supplies! The beacons are active, as you can see at the top of the screen. I just, running, I'm sure there's sodium or phosphor or something like that, but one of those ones in there, gave me the opportunity to turn off the beacon beams, and just from the angles I've been working, beacon beams were actually quite distracting, and it bothered me for a bit, so I just didn't bother turning them back on when I was done over here, because I'm not quite finished with all this stuff. Making some progress. I mean, I've never built the whole side in one stream before. Still wondering what's janky about that one. I didn't get it janky on the other one. There. Oh! What a weird stair in the middle. Okay. That explains a lot.
Oh, hello there!
Hello there, Tis for Truth. Yeah, the first part of the build definitely does take the longest. And I know I've got some janky mistakes to clean up afterwards on these other pieces, because I've done something really weird to the corners, and that's just what I'm sort of staring up at the moment. I have to figure that out at some point, but I figure the bulk of the build was really the main thing I was here for. I got enough to finish off. Buttons. Once one gets a better feel of the build, it tends to go faster. That's part of it, and the other part was I did the most complicated face of the tower first, so that I could do the less complicated faces later. That's where we're at now, is working on these second of the other faces. So this one had 4 complex faces to the first one. First face of the tower. That's 4 sections, as you can see on the picture in there. They're bottom to top. And now I'm down to the point where there are far less to worry about. We have to do the top 2 with a clock and the bell tower window. And then the opposite side, which I've got set to go, does not have a clock on it. It's just the bell tower window. Yeah.
Hello?
Winning
Hello?
in that category. Hello! Welcome in, Lord Snarl. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Where's Creepers? So yes, welcome, and thank you very much for bringing in your crew. I really do appreciate that. What is it you were up to today, Lord Snarl? Please do tell. I am curious to know. How's me tonight? You know, better headspace than I was when I started this morning. But be just blank or blunt about that one. Yeah, was not exactly in the best mood earlier in the day, but things got fixed since then. Great friends, managing to make a bit of progress on this thing. This face seems to be things a lot better than they were earlier. Messing about with bots on Rocket League. Ooh, what? That's always a blast. No bad puns intended. Okay. I've never managed to get myself into Rocket League. Not, nothing against the game, just not great at sports. Digital or otherwise. But I kind of admire those that do. Because they've got something I don't. Oh. Okay, so we've got... Why am I bothering to go down the long way? And on the train? Not bad. I've never done that before, okay. I know we're down here, but yeah, that will do, I think. Not ideal, but I have to figure out those corners. I don't know what's going on with this Pankila. But obviously I've messed it up on this corner as well, even though it's not complaining. Whatever. But before I move on, I think I'm going to fill the 2 clocks and the holes for the front window with glass and see how that looks. The bottom one is supposed to be all dark. I should have built it on an even, but I built it on an odd, just so I could work the arch a little bit better. I sort of regret the arch difference, but it is what it is now. And so we're going to fake it out and still use dark oak doors anyway. You know, advantage to writing about a book character is you can make the place that they describe generally anything you want. Always a one dark oak door. Well, that's not going to help anybody. Set planks. Before I start moving things, planks. Alright. I have more planks than I can shake a stick at. I took down, a while back, I took down a woodland mansion after we had spent time as a group emptying it. And so I have a few planks to... I think I'm gonna... Oh, 19. Whoops. Well, I have a gazillion doors. Fine. Whatever. I have 31 doors. Yeah. Well, mistakes were had, right? And they may not even work. Glass. Here for a reason. Glass. I'm gonna decide if I want regular or stained. I'm just gonna go regular for now. I need that much. Second one. Read it. Well, thank you very much for having been here, Benson. I really appreciate it. This would be your 4th hour with me today, so I totally understand that your phone's probably not too happy because you're smart and went out and about and actually have a life with things. Yeah, you're going to charge it at some point. Have a good one. Great.
Oh, hello there.
Hello, Mrs. D. How are you today? Well, not so much. Okay. Not gonna be perfect. Totally recognize that. I decide, do I inset one further? That's okay. In there. Oops. Right. Figuring out how to do something. Just got home. Ooh. Hopefully you guys had a good day. So, Mrs. D, are you guys planning on streaming tonight? I just don't want to cut your grass if that's something that you guys are up to. I don't want to overrun you. This is a bit of a surprise stream, so it wasn't actually originally intended. Really? Then. That. Or on. That. But it won't let me because, right, I don't have anything beneath. The whole janky multi-door thing is kind of weird. Probably not going to let me put a door on a door, in which case I'm going to have to change over. Outdoor. Yeah, it's not going to. Not from this block, anyways. Junk. Bad for junk. I put a door on a door. Oh. Trapdoors it is. Alrighty. Now I have 28 doors. But that's okay. Nice if you could make them, you know, go flat, and I'd make like a Titanic reference. And it's not like it's a waste of wood, because I had plenty. Chilling. Okay, great. That sounds like an excellent plan. There's always a million and one things going on with people, but I always have trouble keeping up. Figuring out what they are up to. Oh, I do apologize for not keeping track of what you guys are up to. Find some use for them. 20. Gotta do it. Again, didn't I? Be able to play. Oh, I should have known. That's yeah. Wow. Derps with doors, courtesy Delenn. Great. The reason I should have known actually is went through all the chaos. My train. Trying to decorate the inside of the train. Ready. Good row 1. Third one? That's some of these wrong direction. Welcome back, Fantastic Sherlock Fox. Hopefully you're not stuck with too many duties that you have to work on at the moment. And wow, you got it. Glad to be back, huh? Let's see. I think that'll do, actually. Hating the look, but there's not a ton I can do about it, I think. Okay. Oh, it's gonna be too big, so apologies in advance. This one. So. That one down. And we can't exactly see, but the idea is supposed to be the dark wood door. I got a spot filled. For now. I'm having an I don't care moment just because I want parts of it out of the way. I will definitely go back because it's going to frustrate me, but I think frustrating me to get it fixed probably less critical than having the hole in the first place. Most likely I'll probably end up coming back with something basic along the lines of like just simply stripped dark oak wood. Keep reading that. Put this back row up there for a reason and cap it. Not that. Yeah, that should. Always holes in the buildings. Great, okay. Now we can get the glass in. Oh, right. Oh. Hi, Peregrine. Figured out what you're doing tonight. Okay. Well, good luck, and hope it's well attended. For those of you that haven't seen Peregrine, I think I will just... Where did I put it? Out. Button? Oh. So Peregrine, he last streamed Minecraft at Twitch, but he also has himself, same number, a YouTube channel. And so he'll be streaming, I think he said it was going to be Xenoblade. So yeah. Cool stuff to get done. Cool stuff. Go and see if that's your cup of tea. No bad puns intended, or bad rhymes either. No. I think that's got too much depth to it. I'll have to think on that one. Need something. Xenoblade, yep. See if I have enough lapis. Interesting. Okay. That ought to do it. Here. The back of a clock anyways. I mean, lapis might be more accurate, but I'm not necessarily sure about accuracy. This is where I realized that it was great when I'm building, do the scaffolding on the front, but then I finally wish I had it back. Cool. None of this has been spawn-proof yet either, so... Got a couple of skeletons spawn and... Top. That top one doesn't do anything other than... row. Probably needs a top row too. Oh no, it's got a top, okay. So for starters, it'll do. Not great, but it'll do. Keep, yeah. So, start. Not perfect, but it's a start. Also, I'm not going to bother with the curtains in the window you see there. That was a later, much later addition, and apparently they took it out for a lot of the filming. Yeah, yeah, we've got some progress there. Right. That hole. Okay. Into okay, well. Alrighty then. Why do I have a great big hole? That's interesting. Huh. Okay, well, whatever. I'm glad you like it, Dreamo. I really do think the front looks too bland on the windows. I mean, the glass window part needs help, and then the blue section, I think is too bland. I need to do something on the front, but I have to figure out what, because clock effect is a challenge in this one. I might, you know, commit one of those stereotype sins and actually put in birch, because that would somewhat like a gold clock hand, but I'd only be able to do, you know, or the cardinal hours, like 3, 6, 9, and the halves and quarters and stuff like that. Have enough, of course. I wouldn't have enough. When have I ever had enough of anything planned? Right. Oh, for Dreamo Smith, yeah, you hadn't heard this one, I don't think. But as you can see, I'm part of Diecraft community, kind of obvious there. But oh yeah, I have sand. I was hanging out in one of his streams, and he'd actually watched my first attempt at flying, and he figures I'm sus. He's like, she claims she doesn't know how to fly. So yeah, good chuckle over that one. So yeah, I'm good. They called me Scam Russell. That's what it was. Apparently, I'm Scam Russell. Yeah, there's a bit of a smile there, but I thought you might appreciate that because you were kind of curious not too long ago about how the flying had turned out. And yeah, so apparently I'm a scammer. People in that particular community drop the word scam about as frequently as you and I say hello to each other. That sort of thickness. Happens if I really win, please. The classic way. know. Alright. One of the things I love living in the savannah is that I don't have to worry about rain. I get more than the usual number of Endermen, but rain, not so much. Although I will say I was up on the top of the first version of this tower when a thunderstorm came in. It scared me off the top of the tower. Righty. Get the last of the blue in there. And we're on to the third side. Oh yeah, totally. Apparently I do barrel rolls. Yeah, not the case. Anybody knows how to do a barrel roll in Minecraft? Please do teach. I would love to know. I was generally afraid of heights. I'm still generally afraid of heights, but this is nowhere near as bad as my taller build. I had built, a couple of seasons ago, a very, very large yellow flower. And I can post a picture of that in Discord later, if anybody needs to see it. But the point to that part of this, story was just to note that yeah, I've done things much taller than this, and it scared me silly because I didn't know how to fly. You know, I had fall protection boots and stuff, but that still doesn't help. And I had not got myself totems yet, so yeah, that was a bit of a mess. Got 2 down. Technically 1.5 to go. Because once I get this last side built, which only has that top window in it, the rest of it's all flat all the way up, except the details at the floor breaks. Got a little indentation of those details, but it doesn't have the windows or the doors or the clock. So I think that will be okay. But after I do that, there is a 4th section which has one of the top windows, but doesn't even have the bottom portion because of course that's where the church comes out and behind, and that's the part I have to figure out. So we'll be out of using Lightmatics and back into figuring out as we go kind of thing. Turn this one off. On. Back at it. That was good at the first flight. I actually survived the majority of that stream that weekend, but I just didn't survive the end of that stream. You've probably seen the short, but like the highlight. What I had done was I did really well, and then I crashed and burned by landing in my lava farm. So, yeah. You know, you win some, you lose some, I suppose. Okay. Thanks to our friend sleeping, we have not had a whole lot of neighbors drop by, which is good. There. One. This means then, now that everything's been moved over and turned, then I can extend the big building out. So wait, I've got part of the way to go. We do have a river that wraps around in the back, and then off in out here, the northeast direction, and mostly east. There, I've got a raid farm across the way. So I mean, there's definitely there. I really should take a couple of villagers and repopulate the town that I decimated a couple of months ago, but just haven't bothered yet. All right. Okay. Mode. Easy mode on. Back at starting again. Not like I did the last time. This allows me to see a little bit more where I'm at when I'm working on time. Oh yeah. I'm hoping I'll work it out because I'm told that we're not going to get the server restarted, or not restarted, reset, that's the word, until probably 120 comes out. Got 20, so I have some time, which means that a couple of things will happen. Is one, I'm going to hopefully starting plans for next season's build, but also I will be hoping to maybe get this one done, because learning this build, figuring out the rest of it, would actually probably help me a good amount towards next season's lessons. Pismo, what am I not? Don't care about what it is. Oh. Oh. Yeah, okay, what's that? Blocks. I continue 1 blocks. Something probably did. Okay, let's go get some more. Wow, okay, I guess I better clean that up pretty quick. Grab a few more. Oh, that's the okay. Oh, there we go. Work. Yeah, that has got to go. But ugly. I'm not gonna worry about it at this. Out of the way. Skate for now. Enough. Smooth. Now I've got enough to fit. I think. Yeah, okay, got enough to finish the stream. That's what matters. It's not mad at me. You spoke too soon. Right. Style. Yeah, probably. I do actually, one of the things I like in terms of research for this particular build, is not place off. One of the things I like about research I was able to do for the build, I think I may have mentioned it, but I was able to find a historical grade listing for the building, because of course these things tend to be pretty old, and that really is helping, because there was somebody in March, I think, who was doing an awful lot of photographs of it. So yeah, the gentleman was really quite helpful. Be a bit of an on and off. Come on, you. And so that way I've got plenty of pictures to work with. Also, because of its connection to the Father Brown TV series, then this church has an awful lot of photos of it on Google. So people really do want to visit the place, so there's tons of pictures of people posting things. A lot of the front door of the tower, but then some people just want to take the whole place, so they will actually take shots all the way around the outside. It's not a perfect solution, but it does help a lot in research. And who? Pick of my build. Mark Williams? No. Better not be what you were talking about. or the photographer who took all the pictures of the building. But I definitely will credit the guy for a lot of the photos used references. Yeah. Definitely will credit him a lot. Maybe if I can find him. Thanks to your build, I did this. Possible. Might be able to hold it. No. I was hoping to be able to find somebody who'd gone and drawn up architectural drawings as a part of historical preservation element, but unfortunately, no. No such luck, I'm afraid. That would have made laying out the rest of the building an awful lot easier, but I mean, hey, you should see the plans that some people come up with. I mean, I'm sure Dramaston has a billion drawings of the things that she worked out before she builds. Are you telling me these are... Oh, I know what the problem is. Some of these, as I mentioned earlier in the day, when I do the other side, some of these blocks are a different one because I had actually had too much. Oh, that's not. I'd actually had changed elements, and then because I changed it, I didn't bother changing the inside that I thought couldn't be seen. I figured I would get it fixed after the fact. Some of them I just didn't bother, so I do have a lot of those types of errors too. Oh. What do? You probably have a gazillion different drawings and plans and stuff when you're trying to make things historically accurate to a spec of some sort. Just, I mean, even if they're rough sketches, just saying, hey, I want to make it, 3 chunks wide by like 15 chunks long or whatever. I mean, it's not like you would have mapped out every single plot for your farm unless that's something that really floats your boat. But some people have tons and tons of plans. I was looking at some by the Swanky Potato yesterday, and his uses Excel as a big piece of graph paper to draw things. I don't quite follow that. I mean, but then again, not a crafter. I use a crafting layout program, like what I was using. I always keep mentioning it, and then I forget what it's called. Use a place called Stitch Fiddle, so you can actually design crochet or cross stitch or knitting pattern stuff on there, or you can do other, and that's where Minecraft comes in. So I use that for my graph paper format for other. But I mean, if some people want to do it straight in Excel, to some extent, more power to them. I just find that it's difficult to count the number of blocks I would need if I'm going to be doing a plan like that. Like, I did plan out how many wool carpets and stuff I'm going to need for the CAD file art, just to make sure that my one sheep in that color was going to amount what I needed. Blocks high? Oh, I went 3 rows. Whoops. Wrong. So yeah, everybody does things differently, but people who do very detailed work probably have lots of plans. I mean, sometimes it comes down to experience with what your comfort level is for winging it. Like, I used to be the kind of person that would go and build all 4 of these walls from scratch without Lightmatics or anything like that in a test world, before I would ever dare bring it onto an SMP, let alone try and stream it. That just would not have been me. But things are changing. I mean, I don't mind. So I keep saying I want to do things that I need new experiences for. And Tuesday, I discovered, when my chagrin, I'd made a boo-boo and left one of my gates open. So I had a zombie that got into my farm. Not farm, sorry, my villager trading book. And had turned two of my librarians into zombies. Which is not a problem for people who care that whether or not that happens. There's plenty that want to zombify their creations, or sorry, their villagers intentionally. Which I'm not that person. So that kind of threw me a little bit, but I went and fixed the problem. I mean, that was another one of those, I had never done it before. I just had chose to never do it before, because I felt that doing even manual farming, doing the manual farming or whatever, or getting the items to trade to the villagers, made the game feel like I was being less cheaty about the whole thing, because I wasn't, in essence, scamming the villagers out of their trades. That's why I didn't do it that way. But after I've resolved the issue with those two villagers that got turned into zombies, I'm actually debating it for the rest of them, because I have gone and already filled the server bookshop without the trades being traders being zombified and cured, and that's expensive and a whole lot of time. Especially if some of the trades I just got frustrated and at the time didn't have correct villager to actually get the top level book, so I had bought some of the lower level ones and spent the time to combine them. I have a really itchy nose right now. Come on there. Yeah, that... Okay, why do I have... I think I ran out of... Nope, I didn't. I just found them correctly. I don't even know why I bought... That's the right block, but I think that was probably the right window. But anyways. Oh no! Oh, okay. Yeah, it's called Stitch Fiddle, although I will admit, Yellow, in previous builds I have actually used Plots Modeler for curve shapes. A couple seasons ago, actually, seasons ago when I first started with the Dadcraft Java SMP, that was all he had at that point. I tried building... I attempted to build a very large deerstalker hat. Trust me, I regret it. But anyways, I tried building a very large deerstalker hat as my main base house. So I was using Plots Modeler format as a way of getting through all of that. Try and speed things up, and basing it off of the combination of the spherical and a bit of the observatory that they've got in there that you can use. I'm not sure I would ever do that again, not because of anything wrong with the site. I just find that I'm terrible at being able to convert some shapes into other shapes. But a flat-eared deerstalker hat is a bit of a challenge. Out. Not purely spherical is the other challenge. I was trying to go with the whole Sherlock Holmes theme. That didn't... Great. Erasing that window. Erase the clock. Erase the clock. No, because this is so flat. I actually think put one set of scaffolding straight up the back, and then figure out the corners after. Probably easy. For now, it's for later. me just 1 second and I will be right back. Just got to deal with this itchy. Sorry. So I think that we're going to end up here, and we're just going to call it for now, because being a parent, kids need food, you know, people need people to be human again, and there's always great people around at this hour. I only really intended to go for 2 hours, because if I go for too much longer, I can get on a roll where I actually start talking less, making mistakes more. So I think we'll leave it there for now. But it gives me a chance to think about what I'm going to do for those windows, and also try and figure out what I did derpishly on the corners of the building, because it looks kind of weird from here. I don't know. But that's where we're at. So I'm going to head over to the end screen, say my thank yous, and then we'll find someone to raid. Thank you very much. Okay, so I think tonight. Okay, I think I'm going to send everybody over to Firepower. However, do beware that although most of the time he's family friendly, there's sometimes there's references, and some people will get into his stream and say things that aren't always family friendly, and there are the occasional swear dropped, but for the most part it's a usually safe place to be. I think we'll head over there, and so I wanted to say thanks a million to Lord Snarl for the raid. I really do appreciate that. And Dark for the follow, Peregrine dropping in as well. We also had great people showing up. We had Benson, Greta Smith, and Yellow, and Tis for Truth, and Mrs. Dynamite, and Fantastic Sherlock Fox. And I appreciate all of you. If there's any lurkers who I didn't mention, I just want to say I appreciate you too. Thank you very much for dropping by. Give my best. If you are going to be the raid message variety, you can feel free to copy and paste if you've got access to the emotes. If not, you can either use the one with the global emotes, or you can use whichever emotes you prefer. No preferences there. So, all that said and done, that means all is said and all is done. We'll give our best to Firepower. I'll drop in for a few minutes, and I don't know if I'm going to stick around or not, but I will see you guys again. My next scheduled stream is on Tuesday. Yeah, there we go. On Tuesday, noon to 2 Mountain, noon to 2 Eastern, 10 to 2 Mountain, which works for some, doesn't work for others. I don't know if there'll be an opportunistic evening stream. See how that goes. Have yourselves a great weekend. Bye-bye for now.